Hello everyone, this is Chantel from Gluten-Free Cooking123.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make rolled grape leaves or grape leaves rolls. What did I name it? I have no idea. Okay, you get it. So I was going to film this video tomorrow, and then I decided, hey, I'm cooking, let's just do this, let's keep cooking. So now I'm going to have 4 separate videos filmed on the same day in the same shirt. So you gotta do what you gotta do. So, because tomorrow I want to do some gardening outside, and today it's going to be in the 90s, and I really don't want to be in the heat outside while it's that hot while pregnant. That's not fun. So I'm going to stay inside So I'm going to stay inside where it's cool. So let me show you how to do this. When my kids were little, I used to make this recipe as it is written on my blog. And I will share the link to this recipe in the description box below so that you can guys find it and cook it with the right amount of ingredients. Because right here I am actually quadrupling this recipe. Now I need to double this recipe for my kids, for all of us, because we just devour it. It's my favorite dish, and I could eat it all day, every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And also, it's my son's favorite dish, and everyone loves it, but it's mine and my son's favorite dish. So I double it for us normally when I make it, but I'm also going to put some in the freezer, and that's why I'm quadrupling it. So instead of 1 pound of ground beef, I'm going to be using 4 pounds of ground beef, and I'm also using 8 cups of rice. Now if you are going to make this for 2-3 people, because as a meal, not as a side dish, then you would need 2 cups of rice and 1 pound of ground beef. Now you could serve it for 4 people, but really it's so delicious you can't stop eating it, and you want leftovers. So if you want more, just double it. So I have here, like I said, 8 cups of rice, and I'm going to measure 4 pounds of ground beef. I have 1 pound here already, and I have also pre-rinsed my rice and drained it, and I'm going to put it in this handy dandy Dollar Tree bowl because my other glass bowl is holding my watermelon. Let's see if this fits. Hope for the best. If it doesn't, I have a really large stainless steel bowl that I could use. And I'm going to be rolling grape leaves forever today. I'll probably get the help from my kids, I hope. Into this bowl, I'm going to add the seasonings, and I'm not going to bother even telling you the amount of seasonings that I'm adding. You can find this recipe on my blog. Like I said, I'll have the link for you, and you can make it in the smaller version, and you can follow that instead. So I'm just going to put some salt in here, and some cinnamon. Put a little more. And some black pepper. I don't want to put too much black pepper, just a little. And I have here these Weiler's chicken bouillon. You could also use the powdered stuff. Just make sure they don't have gluten in them, or wheat, I should say. I also don't use anything that has barley in it, because barley also has gluten. From my understanding, actually, I was listening to a doctor one day. He was saying that everything has gluten in it, except it comes in different amounts. And I think there are 2 different chains of gluten. What are they called? Protein or they're molecules, but I don't know if they're protein. Are they protein? I don't know. Anyways, there are 2 different chains, and one of them is what causes the severe allergies. And what I'm assuming, I'm just speculating right now, is that that one is probably what's present in the wheat and in the and barley, and it's either not present in the other stuff or a lot less quantities. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm just speculating. Okay, so I'm going to put in here a whole lot of these chicken bouillons. Normally for a regular measurement, I would use 4 of these small cubes, these ones. So I'm gonna need 16. Do I have 16? Yep, I have 16. Okay, so I'm gonna crush a few at a time in this bowl and add them to here. In this bowl, in my mortar and pestle, it's not a and I like to crush them because you can't really mix them in here if you don't. Now, if you don't want to use chicken bouillon, I like to use them because they add a whole lot of flavor in there. Oh, I'm going to add parsley too, I forgot, because just a little. Okay. I like to add chicken bouillon because it adds a lot of nice flavor to the stuffing. But if you don't want to use them, you can. It's just not going to be as flavorful, even though you are going to be cooking them in chicken broth. Or if you don't have chicken broth, you can use chicken bouillon, which is what I'm going to do today. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, you could use chicken bouillon, you could not use them if you don't like them, but they add a whole lot of flavor. If there's another healthier alternative that is like chicken bouillon, that's maybe like broth concentrate or something like that, which I don't know if it even exists, you could probably add that to the stuffing in here. So I'm just going to keep breaking these up and adding them in here, and we'll get back to it. So if you were making the regular recipe, you'd need about a 1/4 cup of olive oil in here, or a little more, a little less, depends how much you like oil in there. So I'm just going to add about a cup of oil into this gigantic bowl of stuff here. Woo. And I'm going to attempt to mix this whole thing with my hand, because that's how you need to mix it. I might need to add a little more oil just because I like it to have a little extra fat. But if you want to be healthier, you could put less oil. I'm not going to judge you for that. So I'm going to attempt to mix them with my hand right now. Let's see if this is going to work. You know what? I'm going to transfer them into my big giant bowl just because I'm afraid that this cheap little thing is going to break on me and all the stuffing is just going to go everywhere, and also it's hard to mix this without making a mess. So I'm going to bring that bowl and mix it in there. My giant bowl. I really have no idea how big this bowl is. I got it because I was canning about, I don't know, 3 years ago, something like that, for my vegetable garden, and I needed to wash my vegetables, and a lot of them were big, and there was a lot of them. So I just got this thing just to make it easier for me to do all that canning. I want the oil. I don't want to waste anything. So now I use it for all sorts of stuff, and it's coming in handy for all the freezer cooking that I've been doing lately. I think I am going to add a little bit of oil in here, just because I like that flavor in there, and I like how the oil coats the rice and just gives it that really nice texture and flavor. But like I said, if you want to be reasonable and healthy, you could just add a 1/4 cup of oil or a little less. And what I'm going to do for the freezer is just roll them and put them in a bag, and then when I'm ready to use them, I'm going to take them out the day before and let them thaw, and then line them up in the pot like I would when I would need to cook them. As I store them in the freezer, I mean, I don't want any liquid with them because it will ruin the rice and give it an awful texture. So I'm just going to mix all this and then I'll get back to you with the rest. And just like that, I mixed this giant thing of meat and rice and all the seasonings. And this stuffing is very similar to a lot of dishes, Lebanese dishes, but we also add different spices for different dishes. And right here I have this jar of grape leaves, canned grape leaves. I wish I had fresh grape leaves. I used to have a grapevine, but I took it down because it wasn't producing any grapes and it was terrible. It was in a terrible location and it was just getting these Asian beetles on it all the time. And the year that I would skip putting diatomaceous earth on it or like trying a preventative care type of thing to protect it from these beetles, they would just eat up all the leaves and everything. And but in our area there are also wild grapevines that grow everywhere, but I haven't seen a lot of them where I live, and our road is kind of dangerous and I don't want to go out there and pick them. I did see them on the road, but not in my surroundings, so I don't want to be standing on the road and picking grape leaves while the cars are driving 50 miles per hour next to on our main road over here. So instead I'm just buying these until I get my own grapevine, which I can't wait for. And having fresh grapes, oh, that's going to be awesome. I just need to find the perfect location for it. So you can find these at any Mediterranean or Lebanese store. You can also find them, I find them in our regular grocery store. They have a Mediterranean section, and that's usually where I find them, like either in the Italian section or in the Lebanese Mediterranean type of food. Actually, they have them all like mixed together, so it's Mediterranean food. And they come sort of like pickled in just salt water, and you could rinse them if you want. I don't. I mean, they're clean, they're canned, and I don't really mind the salt in there because I like salt, but if you think they're too salty for you, just give them a quick rinse before you use them. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to make a small amount just to show you guys how to make this, because I don't want to cook this. I want this to be tomorrow's dinner and for the freezer. So I'm just going to make a little bit for lunch for the kids and I today, and just to show you guys how to do it. Going to bring my small pan over here, and before I start on the grape leaves, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop a small tomato and put it at the bottom of the pan over here. So what this does, it prevents the grape leaves from scorching, and it also adds this great flavor and just acidity and all that stuff to the dish that you wouldn't have without that tomato at the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a tomato and do that. So I don't have a small tomato, but I have this, and that's okay. I'm just going to slice it, and while I'm holding it like that, and just drop it in here. You want them to be thin slices. You don't want thick slices, and not way too thin, because you want them to not burn as well. And I don't need all of this tomato. Just see how much I need in here. one last slice. Yep, that's enough. Let me show you. That's all you need to do. So let me show you how to do this. I'm going to bring you guys closer so that you can see this really well. So I'm going to take some of the grape leaves here and just gently squeeze them out, squeeze the water out. I had this sitting in my fridge because I've opened it before. And now what I want to do is take these stems off because they're huge. Now what my mom used to do is, if it was this big, she'd cut it in half, but I really don't have the time to cut my grape leaves in half. I'm just in a hurry. I have so much going on in my life and I don't want to be sitting here and just making grape leaves the whole day. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you this first one. So you set it flat, the smooth side to the bottom, and you want the rough side is where you put the stuffing in. I'm going to take some of the stuffing. This is too big. If you don't like it to be this big, you could just slice it in half and make 2 grape leaf rolls out of that. But I don't mind this. And we're just going to put like a log in here about finger thickness, and we're going to leave on both sides about 1 inch or ½ inch of space so that we could roll it. You don't want it to be completely full. Let me see if you guys can see better if I had it this way. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So let me take a picture of this for the vlog because I haven't yet. And then what you are going to do is to fold the edges on both sides, the ends, the left and the right, onto the stuffing. Now this is going to prevent the stuffing from escaping to the outside, and then you're going to fold this, the bottom part that's facing you, onto the stuffing as well. And you're going to roll not too tight and not too loose. If you roll it too loose, the stuffing will fall out of it. And if you roll it too tight, the stuffing is going to burst out and rip. It's going to rip the grape leaf and it's going to burst out. And then you roll it. Now I set them aside, I roll a whole bunch, I set them aside, but let me show you first what I do. You're going to start lining them up in the pot, and I start at the edge of the pot, and unless if it's like a really big one, then I put it kind of in the middle and I line them up this way, and just I'll show you. I'll show you. So I'm going to keep doing this, and it gets easier the more you do it and the more you get familiar with it. So this is what I do. I just put a whole bunch. Fill them with the stuffing. And roll. It just makes it quicker for me and easier. I don't know, that's what I think. Because I'm not like doing that action of grabbing the stuffing. I just grab a whole bunch and fix it in here. Now I'm just going to grab a whole bunch and then divide it between these. You don't want to put too much stuffing also, because if you do put too much stuffing, it is going to burst out, because don't forget that the rice expands. Some people like to roll them the fat way, where they put a whole lot of stuffing in the middle and then just kind of fold them and roll them fat, fold them closer. I like them to be thin. Now we're going to roll. Again, fold the ends. both sides and fold the bottom away from you onto the stuffing and roll. So I'm gonna keep doing this until my pan is full, and I'll get back to you, or until the first layer is full. So let me show you guys how to layer these. I'm just going to put them in here up against each other, seam side down. You don't want the seam to be up, otherwise they are going to open up, and you are going to push them quite close together. You want them to be tight because they are going to hold each other in the pot. You don't want them to be loose, otherwise they're all going to open up and you're going to end up with them in a mess in your pot. It's going to be a delicious mess, but not as delicious as it would have been if they were still full leaves, you know, not just like rice and meat and everywhere and leaves opened up. I'm going to bring it closer to you so that you guys can see the first layer. See how tight they are together? This is how you want them to be. So I'm going to layer another layer in here, and we're going to put these on the stove and show you the next step. I have to make a little more because that is not enough to make a second layer. And I just layer them the same way on top. So I'm going to keep rolling until I have a next full layer, and then I'll get back to you guys. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. So now we are going to add the seasonings, and then we're going to add the water or the broth. Now I made bone broth, but it's in my freezer and I don't want to take it out, and I should have thought about it before, but whatever. We're just going to proceed with this. So instead I'm just going to put some chicken bouillon, and that's what I'm to imitate chicken broth or bone broth. And I do make my own chicken broth and my own bone broth, and for every recipe I make it differently. So maybe one day I could share with you guys how I make chicken broth for this specific recipe and for several other recipes as well, but in some recipes it kind of differs a little bit. So I'm going to pound these 2 chicken bouillon cubes and put them in here. Okay. And then I'm going to add in some salt. I don't want to add too much because there's already salt in the chicken bouillon, and some black pepper. And these are basically the spices that I put in my chicken broth to make this chicken broth. I do put allspice, but I ran out. I don't have anything anymore. All gone because I used it in a different recipe, and I used it in the yogurt stew or laban emu, and you guys will see this recipe either before or after this video. I'm not sure. We'll see how that will work. And I also need some cinnamon. And some nutmeg. You don't want to put too much nutmeg because it will make it bitter. Just a little bit. And one more thing, a bay leaf. And this is going to make it super awesome, super delicious. Clean the stove around it a little. And then I'm going to add some water, just enough to cover it, and a little bit more, maybe about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch above it. I need some more. I'm going to add some more water. And you could use boiling water just to speed up the process a little. Now we are going to take a plate that fits inside the pot. It has to be slightly smaller than the diameter of the pot, but you have to make sure that you're going to be able to take it out of the pot. Now this plate is a little smaller than I would like it to be, but this is the only plate that can fit in this pot. So I'm going to put it in the center, make sure it's touching most of the grape leaves, and then push down like that. And then we're going to cover it and turn on the heat on high until it reaches a boil, and then we're going to turn it down on medium-low and simmer it for 30 to 40 minutes, or until as long as it takes for the rice to get cooked. And then I'll show you the next step. It has cooked for 30 minutes, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take the plate off very carefully, and I'm going to use this spoon and a tablecloth, or you could use tongs, and just transfer it to the sink very carefully without burning myself. And then what I'm going to do is, do I have hot water? No, I don't have hot water. I'm going to quickly boil some water and add in about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in here. So I'm going to wait for the water to boil, and then I'll show you guys how to do this. In this cup over here, measuring cup, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, or maybe 3. Oops, yeah, I think I'll add 3 because I like it sour.
Why is it red?
If you don't like that much lemon juice, you don't have to add that much. You don't even have to add lemon juice if you don't like sour. And I'm adding in maybe about like a 1/4 cup of water, boiling water, just to help spread the lemon juice all over the grape leaves. And I'm going to let it sit like this with the heat turned off on the same eye for 10 minutes. And after that, we can serve it. Okay, so the grape leaves are done. And to take them out, I just use 2 forks. Or you can use tongs also. You want to be super careful. And I like to add some of the liquid, the juices that are in there on top of the grape leaves a little bit, just to have that zesty flavor from the lemon juice. But this is my favorite dish, but we just had lunch, so well, I didn't really have that good of a lunch. And I'm tired because I've been recording 4 videos in the same day, and it has been exhausting, especially that I'm almost a week away, almost week and a half almost, from having my baby, so I'm just totally exhausted. Okay. Alright, I'm going to try it. I am super excited, but I'm just tired, and you can't tell that I'm excited. But this is my favorite dish, my ultimate favorite dish. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I can eat this every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I could. The only downside is that it takes forever to roll, and I would get fat. And I don't want to. Perfect. Perfect amount of salt, perfect amount of lemon juice, perfect amount of spices, just everything is super perfect. I love it. Oh man. If you guys haven't tried grape leaves yet, you need to. You need to try grape leaves. It is one of the best dishes, in my opinion, in the Mediterranean restaurant, especially in the Lebanese restaurant, in the Mediterranean cuisine, especially in the Lebanese cuisine, because of the way how we make it, or the way how I make it. call me biased, but I love grape leaves, and these are just super delicious. I'm gonna take another bite. Mm. Mm. If you've never tried grape leaves, you have to. You seriously have to. Another way, my mom used to serve it to us, and sometimes I still like it that way when I do make my own lactose-free yogurt, which one day I will be showing you guys how to do that. I know I keep talking about it, but I really one day will show you how to do that. And so I would serve it with some lactose-free yogurt on the side, and you dip the grape leaves in that. The grape leaves also could act as a side dish or maza, like I mentioned in many of my other videos. And it could be a side dish to like barbecues, and maybe with some Sambousek or anything that you could think of. And it's just the ultimate supreme dish, and I make tons of it because we eat it as a main dish. It's just so good, and we can't stop eating it. My son can't wait to have some. He's just been waiting, but I have to take a picture for the blog because I don't have any pictures yet for this dish. I kept forgetting to put up pictures whenever I made this dish, even though I make it a lot. Anyways, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications of whenever I upload new videos. And if you like this video and you have learned something new, please hit the like button so that more people can see these videos and learn how to make delicious gluten-free food and Mediterranean food. And a lot of the Mediterranean food is naturally gluten-free, but also a lot of it is not. And I am working on developing a lot of these recipes for you guys so that you can also cook the Mediterranean cuisine that has a lot of wheat elements in it, dough, all that sort of stuff, and a lot of other cuisines as well, because I love all sorts of cuisines. So I'm working on developing all these recipes for you guys. I already have a recipe for Sambousek. I'll link it down in the description box below. I might put it somewhere in the iCards, maybe at the end of this video, I don't know. Anyways, so, and don't forget to share this video. It's important. Share how to make grape leaves. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode.